everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Mandy and I'm a full-time reseller. Today is my What Sold Wednesday video. It is coming out a day late. The last couple days have been kind of wild and honestly I just didn't really feel like making it until today. So we will just get right into it. This will be for the week of October 28th through November 3rd. And Mercari, I didn't have any sales, so I don't know what's going on there. This week it has picked up on Mercari, so definitely it changed from last week. I don't think I had any sales running on eBay. I didn't have closet clear out or anything on Poshmark, but Poshmark was pretty slow. So I will scoot over and I will show you what sold. Starting with Poshmark, this was a plus size 3, so like a 3X. Like a career blazer. This was picked up at the bins. Torrid, I'm pretty specific on what I'm buying. Pretty much only like dresses, outerwear, some blazers, and then maybe some bras, lingerie, depending on the piece. So this one did end up going for $20. Next up is Pink Depression Glass. This was a creamer and sugar set. I got this at my parents' rummage sale. Some people that had some items in there towards the end of the sale, they were just trying to get rid of it. And if you've watched my videos before, you know I am trying to get into hard goods. So this was kind of me trying out glassware, see how I like, you know, shipping it, selling it, listing it. So this did end up going for $16. Next up is another Torrid piece. This was kind of like a casual business wear type top, a really deep V. This was a 2X and it did go for $18. Next up is J. Jill. This is a brand that I kind of sworn off for a while and now I am trying again. This was also from the bins. This one was a size large. I normally try and stay in the bigger sizes. The smaller ones seem to sit for me for a little while. I also don't pick up anything basic, so like just a plain t-shirt or something that's maybe just, you know, one color, unless it would be a really good fabric, I would maybe consider it. This had a really pretty, almost watercolor floral to it. Next up is Polo Ralph Lauren. This I got at a thrift store. I believe it was 80% off. I did take a $20 offer on this one. It did have some washwear, but this style is very in right now, this kind of like sporty tennis look. Next up is Rachel Zoe. This was picked up at the bins. This was new with tags. Yes, it was new with tags, size medium, like a tweed plaid type, like blazer jacket. This one, I think I had it listed since last winter, but it was towards the end of winter. So it makes sense that we're, you know, now finally getting someone to buy it in fall. And this did go for $38. This is an unbranded skirt. The photo that I got of it was from Amazon. So it was some sort of Amazon brand. I know not everybody likes selling Amazon. I'm fine with it as long as I get it for cheap enough and it's something that the style is going to elevate it enough for someone to want to buy. I did have it listed for $30. I believe it was like $45 or something on Amazon. That's another reason why some of these brands I will give a shot, you know, to sell it on my own, just because if someone's willing to pay $40 on Amazon, they might be willing to spend something on a secondhand site. So this did end up going for an offer of $25. Next up is Banana Republic. This was silk and cashmere, super lightweight, pretty thin. You're probably wondering why I let it go for $18. I've had this for probably 2 years. I don't know why no one wanted it. It wasn't extra small. Someone offered me $18 and I was fine with that. Next up was a bundle sale. This was a Wild Fable like crop top that I had originally bought for Play-Dohs. They passed on it a couple times. I wanted to list it just because I really liked the way that it looked and I thought keywords might be able to help sell it. And I was anticipating it would sell in a bundle, which it did. It also went with, what was this? I think it's like Basic Editions was the brand, new with tags, dead stock, just like a white, like the tank top with the little sweater that's connected to it. This was also a size small, and this bundle went for $28. Nothing on Mercari, so we'll go right to eBay. This is Anne Klein. I don't normally pick up Anne Klein that often. This was at the bins. It was new with tags, size 12, chambray. This one I picked up, I believe, towards the end of summer-ish. So I've had it for a couple months. It did end up going for an offer of $20. This was a kind of a cool one. So if you find vintage cross stitch, yeah, this cross stitch is what this is called, I would definitely take your time to look it up on eBay. Some of them can go for a lot of money, some of them don't go for much. It's all going to depend on what the pattern is, how old it is, the condition. This one was new. I think I paid $1.99. and it went for an offer of $35. I couldn't believe it. I had known people were saying, these cross-stitch things can go for quite a bit. Crafts in general can go for quite a bit, especially vintage. So I've kind of been, dabbling in that a little bit. So most comps were like 40, 45. Someone offered me 35. I figured I better just take it because 2 into 35 is great. I do have another one, but that one is not as sought after, so that one might sit for a little bit. Next up is Vintage Leroy. This was a sweater, what was it? Wool and Angora rabbit hair. So definitely a good fabric content. It had a great style to it, very witchy, very whimsy goth. I knew I had to wait for the right buyer. A bunch of people were sending me lowball offers like 15, 20. We're just getting into, towards the end of fall, winter. I knew I was going to hang on and see. So this one ended up going for $35. Next up is a viewer sale. This went to Lindsay. I have shouted her out a couple times. I'll pop her up here again. If you are into reseller content, she does a lot of thread up boxes. She does some Disney vlog type thing. She lives in California. This is going to her. This one, when I did my thrift haul of my dad's and my grandparents' stuff, this was in there. This is a vintage Mickey Mouse bank. So I hope you like it, Lindsay. It did go for $12.99. Next up is a Patagonia belt bag fanny pack type thing. I got this at the bins. It was pretty worn on the inside, some discoloration, almost starting to peel. I did take really good pictures. I saw that there were a couple other ones listed and sold around $40 to $50. So I figured, I would give mine a try. It's on the inside. It's not hurting anything. And most people are using this for, hiking, camping, so it doesn't really matter. This ended up going for $23 on an offer and probably sold within 8 hours of listing. Next up is just a pair of Old Navy leggings. If you're new, I am a pretty big Old Navy seller. I will sell just about anything besides just plain tops or kids clothing. These were an extra large. That's why I did pick these up in this kind of tie-dye looking print, and these did go for $15. Next up is Not Your Daughter's jeans. These are a black, almost coated. They're not leather, but they have that coating to them. They were new with tags, straight cropped, and 14W. Picked these up at Savers quite a while ago. I don't really go there often anymore just because it's too expensive. These did end up going for an offer of $45. Is Steve Madden. I got these at Plato's. I am someone that sells to Plato's quite frequently, so I have a whole bunch of points there that I use periodically. You can use them for $5, $10, or 20% off your purchase. So I think these were 12 or 13 there. I used my 10 off. I thought that the style would definitely sell these. It took a little bit longer than what I was anticipating, probably 4 months. They did end up going for an offer of $25. Next is Princess Polly. This brand I don't normally sell on my own. I will normally send it to Plato's. I just really liked the way that this dress looked. It was really cute. I knew that I could use a bunch of keywords to sell this, and it did end up going for $18. This is a pair of Everlane boots. These have already sold before on eBay. They got returned, so hopefully this buyer, that they fit. They were a size 6.5, which is a little small. I did get them at Goodwill for $3.99 a couple months ago, and these did go for my full asking price, which was more than what they sold for before, so it ended up working out. Next up is Cactus. I think there's 2 different Cactus brands. I know one that starts with a K, and it's a little bit more abstract print. This one I had never heard of before. I picked it up at the bins. It was a 3X. It had these quirky dog drawings on it. Normally anything with dog, cat, pretty much any animal is going to do well, as long as it's good quality and it's aesthetically pleasing to the eye. So this one was a hooded sweatshirt, and it did go for $26 and sold, I believe, the second day I had it listed. On to Depop. This was that vintage acceleration shirt. It had the fairy graphic underneath, and then it had this netting over it. I could have gotten more, but part of the netting was there's a small hole in it. I thought about maybe distressing the whole thing, but I thought I'm just gonna see if someone will buy it with that flaw. If they want to distress it, they could. And it did end up going for my full asking price of $22. This was a dress that had denim on the top and then flowed into a fabric kind of patchwork look skirt. This was, I'm assuming from the 90s, maybe late 80s, size 16. I did have to sew new buttons on the front because one was missing, so I took them all off and put new buttons on there. This one did end up going for $24. I've been doing really well with this style cardigan. It's like a loose open knit, very mermaid core, very siren. This one was a really pretty like lavender silver. This ended up going for my full asking price of $25. These kind of skirts are my favorite things to find at the bins. I find them quite frequently, so it's like, I don't know who in town is like, you know, donating these because I don't see anybody wearing them. There's a really pretty, almost like burnt dark orangish red, very Stevie Nicks, very whimsy goth. I also use the keyword Renaissance. This one I had listed for $40. I had a whole bunch of lowball offers on Depop. Finally, somebody came in with $34. I figured that was fair, and this probably sold within like a month. Next up is a mesh top. This was really cool. Looking at it, it looks black, and then in the light, it's an iridescent green and purple, I believe it was. This I got in the Halloween department or area at Goodwill. Fortunately, this year, like, Goodwill really let me down in that area. Normally, there's a lot more, you know, obscure kind of looking things. This year, they just didn't have it. Or if there were things, they had it marked so high. And it's like, I don't understand. Like, what are you going to do with that once Halloween's over? They don't put it on clearance or anything. So I'm assuming it went to the bin somewhere. But there are quite a few dresses I thought about, but they had them listed for like $40. I'm like, there's no way. So anyways, this one I think I got for like $3, and it ended up going for an offer of $16.50. This type of cardigan I've also been doing really well with, that like dark moody velvet look to them. This one did have that little clip at the front there. This one did go for an offer of $24. And then the last item to sell on Depop, this was like an art to wear fairy, very Y2K. Who made this? Liberty Lane. I've never heard of it. Size 2X, I think that helped. This one did go for full asking price of $20. So totals this week: Poshmark $203 for 9 items sold. Mercari nothing because nothing sold. eBay $293.88 for 11 items sold. Depop $165.50 for 7 items sold. So my total sales this week were $762.38. And after fees and average cost of goods are taken out, that leaves me with $502.89 for 27 items sold. So going into this week, I still have been doing my new listing schedule where I'm doing 15 Monday through Friday and then delisting, relisting on the weekends. Not sure yet. I want to do it a couple weeks, kind of see how things shake out. This week has seemed to be busier than what last week was. Last week we were kind of in the middle of Halloween, so that maybe had something to do with it. This week, my Mercari has taken off. Like the last 2 days, it's been pretty busy. Not sure what's going on there. Everything else kind of seems to be a little bit slower, but we'll see once the weekend hits. Hopefully it picks up. So let me know in the comments below, how has this week been for you? What is your best-selling platform? And as always, if you enjoyed today's video, please make sure to give it a like. It really helps out the channel, and I really appreciate it. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!